though I know this may or may not be a conversation that is super available to everybody in the world right off the bat, but to even be able to open the possibility of a conversation where you can acknowledge that like your receiving can reach like across time through to so many other beings, so that you could like eat something and not just have, you know, the sugars doing something in your body or whatever, but like actually have the receiving of the earth that created that, that is the gratitude for all of that, that can like, it's almost like, you know, with who does this belong to? I sometimes when you like return to sender with consciousness attached, what I used to think when I first came across access is that, you know, so I'd be like, okay, this doesn't belong to me, return to sender. And then I would have this sense of like, whatever that was passing from me back through everybody that it passed through and to the sender, you know? And so it like can reach out and just kind of clear from everybody that it's passed through. Now, is that definitely what happens? I mean, everybody has their choice too, but I just love the sense of that, what's possible with that, and like that you could do that with food too, like that you could eat something and your gratitude could flow through everybody that touched it to actually be a nurturing response to the world in that way too. It's just something that's really exciting to me.
Two sentences to this, that you've been aware of this phenomenon and the energy you're being right now while you're talking with plants, and the touch is the language of creation and generation. And then the process of creation and receiving is, as you included yourself in the language of creation with everything, you became part of the process of also receiving it and gifting it. And then it was also the language of communion. Now, that's also a lot of times what occurs when I go to a supermarket. Like, I really, that's like people go shop jewelry, I go shop tomatoes or knives. Like, that's my drill. Like, some people like books. I like colors in the fruits and the vegetables. But there is this innate sense of touching something and being invited to that space of what is it that has been created that shows up as a fruit or a plant or fish on your plate. So there is this whole universe of energy that invites you to engage with it. My other sense is that everyone, mostly all humanoids, have this sense going on of this language of creation and language of knowing what is in different aspects. Like, mine might be food. Monica is very strong with plants that way, and everyone has that. Some people know it cognitively, others may not. So this is not just for us to tell them we are cool with plants and food and we know this, but also to invite them to explore their own sense of this magic where they know this energy and they know and be this engagement, and where they can actually use this information we are presenting to actually be more of that in whatever way they want to. Like, okay, sure, there is a little bit of format we are presenting, and it's open to exploration in any way that they desire to take it forward. And if they do, we change the world.
Right. Right.
Like, that's my sense also to it, adding to.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing because it's like there are these things that kind of are such generous gifts all around us that we pass by without even noticing very easily. like there's all of the kind of ritual around food where people are eating and they don't even want to be eating, or they're not even hungry, but it's 5 o'clock, or all of that. So it's just kind of like there's this beautiful possibility for like, oh my God, an apple? Wow, where did that come from? Wow, and it could be like this joyful celebration in like the simplest thing, but people don't often, they're not invited to really step into the pleasure that
Yeah.
is possible. And the same with like walking down the street, there are people who are like, wow, I'd never even noticed that tree was there, but that tree is like flowering and bringing life to all of these birds and insects, so it's like we're surrounded by, it's almost like we're there's that saying from that movie, or it's a movie and also a play, Anti-Mame, where she's like, the whole world is a banquet and most people are starving to death, like we're surrounded by these riches, and we take them for granted, but like now is a chance for us to invite people into the joy of
Yeah.
what's right around us.
Totally. Like the intimacy has been stripped off and replaced with routine, ritual, rightness, wrong, routines and judgments. So the idea is to sort of remove the routine and judgment connected to the banquet, and then introduce this space of intimacy, however that shows up for everyone. Like with a lot of what Monica shares with me, like when she's working with a plant, she sits there and spends time with it. Like literally, like with a newborn baby, you give it attention, she takes photos, she would make videos, she would talk to it, and it would show a transformation almost instantaneously. And I see this with food. I go buy things and I'm literally looking at fish. Okay, fish, show me. Like, okay, I create a part and piece of it for fillets, and then some part of, like, I almost get the download of it. Okay, what's possible with it? There's a possibility of steaming it. There's a possibility of, frying it. There's a possibility of creating this flavor, that flavor, but all in a sense leading to the space of there's a possibility of engaging in creating some other transformation, some other flavor, which is not cognitive, which is not here right now, but there is this possibility of using this and creating something with it. And then as it does get created, as you become one with it, as it becomes part of your body, as you taste it, it starts exploding with joy of being received. You start exploding with joy of receiving it and gifting it and part of being its process. So, like that process of thrival, you get connected to again rather than just only engaging with food and nature and energy as survival.
Totally.